Coming up, remembering State Senator Johnnie Turner.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Folks in Harlan County and across the mountains are mourning the loss of State Senator Johnnie Turner. Turner was also a longtime attorney in Harlan. He served in the state Senate since 2021. Turner died after complications from a lawnmower incident in September. He was known to many as someone to call on when you were in trouble.
And wanted everybody to have an opportunity in his communities to have water, to have jobs, and he'll be missed. He was a great person.
Turner served the 29th Senate District, which included Bell, Floyd, Harlan, Knott, and Letcher counties. He won the seat in 2020 after defeating longtime former Senator Johnnie Ray Turner, which drew attention due to their nearly identical names. He also served as state representative from 1999 to 2002. Other mountain lawmakers praised Turner's leadership today. They say he will be remembered for loving his family and the people of Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, Johnnie was a mountain legislator. I mean, he very often, I don't know that we saw him without carrying a gun. He was not afraid to get his hands dirty. You know, he'd get on a tractor and get the work done himself if he didn't have somebody there to help him.
I think of him and his personality. He is doggedly determined. When he got something in his sights, he was going to work on it. He could be a force of nature.
Lawmakers say Senator Turner had historical knowledge of issues that benefited younger legislators. Funeral arrangements for Senator Turner have not been announced yet. He was 76 years old. Lawmakers from Senator Mitch McConnell to Governor Andy Beshear sent prayers to Senator Turner's family today. Congressman Hal Rogers said, quote, Senator Johnnie L. Turner was a consummate fighter for what he believed in, from defending his country in the U.S. Army to protecting the 10 Commandments in Harlan County schools, and most recently advocating for Bell, Floyd, Harlan, Knott, and Letcher counties in the state legislature. He loved the people of southeastern Kentucky and always showed up when it counted the most. Senator Turner's name, as well as that of an opponent who recently withdrew, will still be on the ballot next month. Neither will be counted. Officials say write-in candidates have now until Friday to become ballot eligible, and we are already hearing of at least one person who says he is running. Knott County radio broadcaster and former judge executive Randy Thompson, who lost to Turner in the May primary, said on social media he will run for Turner's seat. Thompson offered his condolences to Turner's family and said in part, quote, after much prayer and conversations with many friends and family, I have decided to seek the seat as a write-in candidate. I am a Republican, the first ever elected to office in Knott County, and with your vote, we can keep the seat in the Republican Party.
Well, we had another beautiful day across eastern Kentucky, and temperatures were in the 70s and 80s. That trend will not continue for the day on Thursday as we finally had that cold front push through. Outside right now, we're seeing clear skies and temperatures in the 50s and 60s, upper 60s towards Jackson, 66 Prestonsburg, 50s from Manchester down to Monticello. Monticello's down at 52, 55 the Double Nichols and Jonesville, as well as Wise. All is quiet on live pinpoint and Doppler radar. We are getting that nightly ground clutter that we see this time of evening, but all in all, we'll stay mainly quiet for the next several hours. We'll see plenty of sunshine for your Thursday, but with that wind out of the north and northwest, it's going to keep those temperatures pretty cool. We're only going into the mid to upper 60s. So when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 30s and 40s will greet you. Now we'll see one day where we go back into the upper 70s and low 80s before the temperatures crash yet again. We'll talk about that in the first forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. Less than 2 weeks remain before Election Day, and more than 24 million Americans have voted early. Today, both campaigns responded to new warnings from John Kelly, a retired Marine general who worked for former President Donald Trump. CBS's Danya Backus has the latest.
At a live CNN town hall, Vice President Kamala Harris seized on new comments from John Kelly, former President Donald Trump's longest-serving White House chief of staff. The retired four-star general said Trump fit the definition of a fascist.
The people who know Donald Trump best, the people who worked with him in the White House, in the Situation Room, have all called him unfit and dangerous.
In now published interviews with the New York Times, Kelly said Trump could govern as a dictator if elected, and corroborated reports that Trump spoke favorably about Adolf Hitler.
He commented more than once that, that Hitler did some good things too.
Both Harris and Kelly also pointed to the former president's recent rhetoric about the enemy from within, suggesting he might use the military against domestic opponents.
It should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Something Kelly says Trump was repeatedly told by advisors not to do.
Originally, the conversation would be, Mr. President, that's outside your authority. We really don't want to do that inside the United States.
Trump held two events in Georgia Wednesday, but made no mention of Kelly or what he said.
Kamala, you've done a horrible job. You're the worst ever. There's never been anybody like you. You can't put two sentences together.
But he issued this statement on social media, accusing Kelly of making up stories, calling him dumb and a lowlife. Trump supporters say they remain confident in his leadership.
If he was going to be a dictator, he already would have done that in the 4 years that he served.
And CBS News has learned one of Trump's biggest supporters, Elon Musk, got a letter from the Justice Department. The DOJ says his recent $1 million giveaway to registered voters to sign a petition could violate federal law. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz was in Louisville this evening. He was there for just a short time and attended a campaign reception where he was expected to address donors and other campaign supporters. I-65 northbound was shut down for a time for the visit. Walz is heading to North Carolina and Pennsylvania next. A few election reminders. The general election is on November 5th. Yesterday was the final day to request a mail-in absentee ballot in Kentucky. Excused in-person absentee voting was available today and will continue tomorrow and Friday, as well as next week on October 29th and 30th. No excuse in-person early voting will take place on October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd. The Letcher County Fiscal Court is receiving a $3.3 million grant from the Abandoned Minelands Economic Revitalization Program. The funding will go towards building a waste digester system. Those involved in the project say this is similar to a composter. Jeffrey Justice with Pine Mountain Partnership says the grant will help the economy in Letcher County.
So what this will do will allow us to take other communities' solid waste as well and end up making money. So the ratepayer in Letcher County will not bear the burden of the entire expense.
Justice says the goal is to complete the project within the next 2 or 3 years. Up to 10 new jobs could be added to the community. The city of Pikeville recently announced changes to the traffic pattern in one of its busiest areas. For drivers on Cassidy Boulevard, city officials hope traffic will begin to move smoother. The connecting road that leads to Food City and Lowe's and the road that connects to Gas and Go and Starbucks no longer allow people to drive left or straight through, with new signs changing the lanes to allow right exits only. City engineer Brad Sloan says eliminating drivers passing through oncoming traffic should help cut down on crashes and congestion in the area.
A relatively inexpensive solution was to do this for now, and then we're going to continue to look at different options for a long-term solution and see what we can do.
More efforts to promote a safer roadway are on the planner, but officials say this is a move in the right direction. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, McDonald's has stopped selling quarter pounders at some of its U.S. restaurants as federal health officials investigate an outbreak of E. coli.
And in the world of weather, we're seeing temperatures in the 60s tomorrow, and then we're going to cool off and increase the rain chances. Details in a few minutes.